Hey guys, so my name's Adam, and I'm back again today to count down the 7 reasons why you should rewatch Fight Club, or the 7 reasons why you should watch Fight Club again. And that's the key word, is to rewatch it or again, because well, the first 2 rules of Fight Club, for those of us that have seen it, are you don't talk about Fight Club and you don't talk about Fight Club. And the reason for that is the fucking spoilers. And trust me, when I say this, you can't talk about this movie without talking about spoilers. This one's gonna have major spoilers, and I'm not talking like the good guy wins or the bad guy wins type spoilers. I'm talking huge spoilers. So if you haven't seen this movie, please, I'm begging you, like, for your own good and for mine, because I wouldn't want to ruin this movie for anybody, please don't watch this video. So, with that said, with that sort of caution out of the way, let's get on the list. Number 7 is one that I didn't know until I looked into it a bit, is the Project Mayhem folder that supposedly the narrator is holding. He goes in to confront everybody about what's this Project Mayhem stuff, and he has a folder that looks a lot like the folder that's on the wall later on for Project Mayhem. There's rumors on the internet that his hand is spray painted green too. I didn't see that, but, you know, I could have missed it. It is debatable. I mean, it doesn't explicitly say Project Mayhem on it, but it definitely is the same folder that we see later on in the movie. Number 6, this one's really cool, if you haven't picked it up yet, is the narrator is in the passenger seat and Tyler is driving. And then there's a car crash. As we all know, there's a car crash in this next scene, and the narrator is pulled out of the passenger side instead of the driver's, or sorry, the narrator is pulled out of the driver's side, despite the fact that he was in the passenger side in the previous scene. This was such a cool, what's cool about this is, while it was filmed, if you watch the audio commentary, the cameraman actually pulled the guys aside and was like, look, I think we need to reshoot this. The narrator, Edward Norton, was in the passenger side, and you pulled him out of the driver's side. It's a continuity error, which later on, of course, once he saw the movie, he finally realized what was happening. So that's very cool that even the crew on the set didn't know the secret of Fight Club. Number 5, this one's pretty easy to pick up your second time around, but first time around you're pretty much oblivious to it, right? Is when Tyler and Marla are having sex, the narrator picks up the phone and immediately the sex stops. That's obviously because, you know, as I've warned you, the narrator and Tyler are the same people, or the same person, and he's having sex with Marla and stops to pick up the phone. We see it in a different perspective, but I think it's clear that that's what's happening. Number 4 is another really cool one. This one's pretty well known on the internet, is the payphone scene when Tyler calls back the narrator from a payphone. The narrator picks up the phone, and you see that it says no incoming calls on the payphone. And I can tell you, when I first saw this movie the first time, I was like, what? Payphones? You can't call payphones. I know this. I know there was a time when you could have, and, you know, I haven't used a payphone in a long time now that cell phones are pretty prevalent. I don't know if you can call them now, but I definitely know at the time that this movie came out, you definitely couldn't call a payphone. And like I said, it explicitly says on it, no incoming calls. So that's really cool that that was there. Number 3, another one that I didn't know, that I heard through sort of the internet lore, and I can't confirm it, and it's probably the one that's gonna give the most mileage for rewatchability, is apparently there is a Starbucks cup in every single scene of this movie. This was straight out of David Fincher's mouth. I've seen definitely Starbucks cups in the movie. I can't say for sure that there's one in every single scene. There's actually a Tumblr that tries to collect every single shot of the Starbucks cups in there, but I don't know if they've gotten all of them yet. So if you've seen one that you don't think anyone's seen, let me know in the comments below, because that's really cool. That would be awesome if somebody watching this found a Starbucks cup that nobody knew about. Number 2, this one I told people, and they think that I'm crazy for saying this and maybe weird, but the plot of this movie is kind of sort of the same as that old comedy movie, Old School, that came out at the same time. You know, the one starring Will Ferrell. Basically, it's sort of this underground secret club of men that get together. They don't talk about it in the outside world. They don't acknowledge it in their personal life. There's some scenes that are directly sort of ripped off, maybe, or direct references to the other. For instance, when Luke Wilson is in the restaurant with his girlfriend and the pledge is trying to get in, and the girlfriend's like, what is this person talking about? The same thing as Marla Singer in the restaurant with the narrator.
I know who you are. I am Avi. I'm a big supporter of what you guys are doing.
Not here.
Okay. Now, don't you think this is going a little far?
There's a few other scenes that are directly stolen. Of course, there's the not the mud, but the lube wrestling in the basement. Looks like it could have been taken right out of Fight Club. So that's pretty cool. It's interesting that it came out at about the same time. I don't know if it was intentional, but I do know in the audio commentary they do, the audio commentary for Old School, they do reference that a lot of people have mentioned that this is basically a similar plot to Fight Club. And the number one reason that I think people need to rewatch this movie, and the one that is so cool, is Marla Singer's perspective on this, and your perspective on Marla Singer, because the first time you watch Fight Club, Marla Singer is a cunt, really. She's a huge cunt. She's sleeping with one guy and trying to sleep with the roommate. She's flirting, she's being a cock tease to the narrator while she's sleeping with his roommate and probably his best friend. She's a terrible, terrible person. Once you rewatch it and you know the sort of secret of Fight Club, you realize that she's a victim, like this poor girl. She's trying to have this relationship and the same person is having sex with her and then asking her to leave his house. What are you doing in my house, he says. Terrible things like that, and he's the one that's really crazy or playing head games with her.
Tyler isn't here. Tyler went away. Tyler's gone.
So those are my 7 reasons, and as an added little bonus, I'll say one more bonus reason to watch this is just how obvious the twist is. If you go back, they practically beat you over the head with the twist that's coming.
For some reason, I thought of my first fight with Tyler.
It's hard to believe that we didn't all see it coming, but we were all, well, most of us, I know I was oblivious until towards the end I started to realize that the first time I saw it, but most of us were oblivious, and it's hard to believe, even in that first scene when Tyler Durden is on the escalator, or when Tyler Durden walks in and they say, could you wake up as somebody else, and the camera pans and follows him. Hard to believe we didn't all catch it right then. But anyway, those are my 7 reasons to rewatch this movie. Let me know what you guys thought. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.